Upbeats released their third studio album, Big Skeleton, in September last year. However, it's only been now that I actually get to catch up with them because they are busy boys, but it's always a pleasure to have with me on the show, Jeremy and Dylan. How's it going?
Hello, it's going well.
Yeah, cheers for having us back.
Define well.
Well, not that well actually. I've been a bit fluey due to excessive touring in the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
We broke a new record last weekend. We did the most number of shows we've done in one weekend in New Zealand. We played 6 shows.
In one weekend?
One weekend.
I was going to say, because you guys are extremely busy, and I remember after the release of Nobody's Out There, it was just like you were on this constant touring schedule.
Yeah.
How did you find the time to write another album?
How did we find the time? We quite often have, like, between sort of overseas things and stuff like that, we have big chunks off, like, say a month here or there, and then we can just get in the studio and knuckle down, because we try to do it 9 to 5, like every day of the week. So yeah, that's sort of how things get done.
It was quite hard though. I remember after Nobody's Out There, because we had been touring so much and we were trying to get together a new live performance, and we got to the point where we just felt like we hadn't been doing anything. It was really frustrating. We felt like every time we sat down, the phone would ring or something would happen, and we just lost concentration. So
someone wants to interview you on TV.
We hired a batch over in it's like a couple of hours drive from Wellington in Riversdale, and we packed up the studio and went over there for a week, and that was the start of Big Skeleton. We didn't know it at that point in time, but...
Would you say that Big Skeleton is continuing on the same sort of thematic path type thing?
We tried to avoid the thematic thing after the sort of constraints that Nobody's Out There put on us, with having to stay in the fairy tale theme that it was. But this one, it's still, I think you'd still think it has got a theme listening to it. But it wasn't intentional at all.
It's funny because we set out thinking, when we did the Nobody's Out There thing, and we didn't want to do that again. And we set out thinking, okay, it's not going to be a theme, but we did end up with the theme. We ended up with, towards the end, this kind of theme just evolved, even though it wasn't intended.
A bit of a B-grade horror flick.
Haunted house vibe. Yeah.
I was going to say, because when the single Carousel dropped last year, I remember listening to it and going, wow, this is a completely different to anything from Nobody's Out There. It's much more of a party-oriented kind of track, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, to move it into, to have it as more of a representation of what we'd play out in a club or at a gig and things like that. So punters it here, and then they go and get the CD and be like, okay, that's what it's like, instead of maybe Nobody's Out There, where it's like a bit like, whoa, this is pretty moody and
introspective
compared to what I saw them playing, Saturday night when they were rowdy and playing.
So you've alluded to your live show being a lot more live. How so?
Well, we've enlisted a couple of other people, extra people from Wellington. We've got Trevor Linnell, Trey on the guitar, DJ Trey.
Shredding on guitar.
Yeah. And we've got Jess Chambers, the folk singer from Wellington. Also MC Loki, who's from England, but he now resides in Melbourne, so it's kind of easy to work with him. And
Dylan plays guitar, and I play keys. And then basically, we try and play as much of each song as we can live, and then ideally with most of the songs it's just the sequence drums that we have in as a background.
So you guys are an actual band now. You're living the rockstar fantasy.
It's quite a step up from just turning up and kind of playing some records. Go and do sound check for a couple of hours.
It must be fun though.
It is really fun. It's really rewarding. It's good.
And how have people been responding to the new live show?
Well, we've only played one show.
Oh, really?
Actually. Yeah, that was the test. So we did that over in Perth, and it went down pretty well. Yeah, I think we played before Andy C, who's like the big drum and bass DJ guy, and there were 2,500 people there, so it was pretty kind of daunting, but I think we pulled it off.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, because we've done the live thing before, we've done a couple of tours previously, but this is, it's been quite different to this. And so, it was just got the set together, and now we'll refine it after the Perth show, and then we'll do a tour again in May, June.
What does 2010 hold for the Upbeats?
We're off a little bit more touring in New Zealand for the next couple of months, and then we're off to Europe in April, and then a little Japan tour after that, and then back to do the live thing in NZ, and hopefully over to the US.
And we're doing, music-wise, we're getting a couple of remixes done of the Big Skeleton, of tracks from Big Skeleton, from some of our favourite producers, and also working on singles for Lifted recordings and Virus recordings.
Wow.
And doing a couple of Shapeshift remixes.
Can you tell us who's remixing your tracks? Your tracks?
Our tracks.
Tentatively.
Tentative remixes. We've got Gridlock
Yep.
and Hive doing stuff. That's out of LA. Noisier from Holland.
Yeah.
Break from the UK.
So that'll be the 4 tracks on the EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when's the EP going to drop?
When the remixes are
Yeah, when we crack the whip and get them.
That's what an interview's for. That's when I like dig for the answers.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, mid-year sometime. Yeah.
Well, look, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you guys, and congratulations on everything that's happened for you over the past couple of years since I last talked to you. Okay. And we're going to check out the first single from that album, Big Skeleton. This is the Upbeats with Carousel.
Thanks for having us.